Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. My name is Nick and today guys we're going to be talking about the price action of XRP. We'll be taking a look at the hourly chart specifically. We might scale it up a little bit and take a look at a few of the others, other kind of time frames, see what's going on there. As I get into this video, if you find it useful and informative, smash the like button. I do appreciate that. If you're new, subscribe. If you haven't joined us in Discord, guys, you're missing a trick. It's the first place that we go to communicate changes in the crypto industry. So if you're looking for most up-to-date information, Discord server is where you want to be. Links in the description below. Okay. With all that said, let's make a start here. We've got XRP paired up with USDT on the hourly chart. We're using Binance as the data source. Now, just on that note, different platforms, different exchanges may have different prices, different structures, and things like that, okay? So I'm using Binance as it is the kind of biggest kind of exchange out there, and we're using USDT pair as it's the biggest pair for trading XRP. This basically gives us the best kind of standpoint from analysis on XRP. Now, we do want to bear in mind that, you know, you might look at the analysis, it might be different on different platforms. So just take this and see if it fits. If it does, it great. If it doesn't, then there might be some strange things going on with that particular exchange. For the most part, they should be the same, but sometimes some of these smaller exchanges have some wicks that take the price, out of the normal range that you would expect to see. Okay. So we've got two kind of scenarios still. We're basically ranging sideways. We call these continuation patterns. This has been ongoing for quite some time, pretty much since we were down here on the 9th of November. Okay, and you can see essentially we're bouncing between these two bigger. Let me just actually remove these middle ones just here. You can see that we're bouncing between these two areas, right? You just ignore this supply up here. Okay, so we're basically ranging right inside this little area. Okay, this basically is a market. When a market is ranging, generally speaking, 99% of successful traders will avoid this. Okay, because it can go in either direction very quickly and basically stop you out of your trade. So most traders are going to avoid ranging markets. Only really retail investors are going to be interested in these kind of things. Right now, Bollinger Bands, you might be able to trade those bouncing around in a ranging market, but for the most part, professional traders try to avoid these as best as possible. So what we tend to find here is that there's two scenarios in play. We've got the 40.76 area, that's this top one just here, right? This area is basically an ABC structure taking us up to here, and then we can talk about the moving back down. We've yet to hit this. In fact, we've yet to hit the minimum area of this C wave, okay? So this is still technically possible and is still technically in play. On the reverse of this, we also have this ABC structure coming down here, which we could also look as 30.90. Right? And this potential area is also a three-wave structure. So until one of these kind of shows its hand, until one of these is kind of done, we're in this kind of ranging market where it can go either way. It's not very clear. And it's actually understandable for the market to be like this at the moment. With everything that's going on with FTX, Alameda Research, and all these other exchanges and companies that are filing for bankruptcy and all these kind of things, right? It's understandable that the market is going to range sideways because there's a lot of people who just simply don't know what to do next, right? The price has come down into new lower lows, not in the case of XRP, I don't think, but in the case of many of these others. Let me just shoot on back here. So not quite, but in the case of like Bitcoin, for example, it's gone down into new lower lows. That was not what they were told by their favorite influencers, etc. Right? So a lot of people are a bit like, what's going on? What do we do? What don't we do? A lot of people are just at the moment doing self-custody, basically removing their assets from exchanges, which on that note, link in the description below for a Ledger hardware wallet. We do get a kickback. We are affiliated with them, and it does help support the channel, but there are many other hardware wallets out there. So do your own research, come to your own conclusions. Personally, I like the Ledger hardware wallet. You get a lot of bang for your buck, and yeah, it's a lot of hardware wallet for your money basically. So we do like the Ledger hardware wallets, but as I said, we are affiliated with it, so don't just take our word for that. You should probably do your own research and come to your own conclusions too, but link is in the description below. Now when it comes to hardware wallets, just on that note before we do move on from that subject, you absolutely categorically must buy a hardware wallet direct from the manufacturer. There are a lot of scammers out there, unfortunately, a lot of scammy little bastards who basically have modified Ledger hardware wallets and sell them on third-party sites like eBay, for example. So just note that you want to buy it brand new, direct from the manufacturer, not brand new off eBay, but from the manufacturer. And the reason for this is that you can guarantee that it hasn't been modified in any way. It's not a counterfeit ledger device. Specifically, when you're going to be moving crypto assets onto it, you're going to want to make sure that it is absolutely categorically direct from the manufacturer to make sure you have that protection layer there. Okay, so I'll just leave it there, but do your own research, come to your own conclusions and all that wonderful stuff. But if you're on an exchange, I would urge you to maybe reconsider that. So let's get back into the world of XRP. We're ranging. People are removing from exchanges. People don't know what to do because they didn't believe that you're going to go down into new lower lows. Okay, so now there's a lot of people who are trying to ascertain what the next move is for the crypto industry. Are we going to bounce up or are we going to drop down lower? If we start dropping down lower, which is essentially what my expectation is, then I think there's going to be a lot of panic selling and it's going to be a bit of a cascading effect. Specifically, as we start to also see FTX assets get auctioned off and Alameda research assets get auctioned off, and many other these other exchanges are also filing for Chapter 11s and stuff. As they kind of go through this liquidation process of getting rid of all of the assets, do expect a lot of selling pressure to occur. So I'm thinking downward price pressure. We're just waiting for retail to catch up with that narrative because I do think it's coming at some point. So when it comes back to XRP here, what do I think is the most likely scenario? Well, personally, I think that we're going to have to go up towards this 40.76 cent range. We have to have this B wave up higher before we can start coming down towards our 25-cent range, which I do think is possible. So we want to kind of keep these things in mind here because we are at the moment looking like we're coming back down. But I think this is going to be short-lived. I would say that if anything, we're likely to move up and we're likely to get this 40.76 hit, maybe even push back up into the supply zone just at the top here. Now, I am recording this video about 5 hours in advance because we've got an interview that we have to go to this afternoon. So this may play out slightly differently to what I'm articulating here. But at the moment, I look at this and I'm thinking we've kind of got some kind of sub-wave count going here. Let me just make that yellow. And then I think we're probably going to have some kind of sub-count coming in here, taking us back up. And the idea that we're looking for, I mean, if we were to think of this, we could probably look at it as a giant ABC structure taking us up into this higher range here. Okay, so I am thinking there's a small move to the downside, but not terribly too much. You can kind of see it playing out right now, and then we move back up. Now we can see here we've got a fair amount to go down, so we could actually come down much further. So maybe this is actually the B wave, and we still got to come down a bit more before we can actually articulate that move to the upside. It'll be interesting to kind of see. But the main note here is that we're not necessarily overbought on all of those timeframes anymore. If I come up to the 4 hour, you can see that we've got a nice correction there. On the 8 hour, we've still got a long way to go down. And on the daily, we've got some progression to it. So all I'm thinking here is there's a small move to the upside before we move down. I could be completely wrong on that and we just miss this 40 cent and we go straight down and we start really kind of coming into these lower ranges. The main takeaway that we're looking for is to basically break one of these white boxes. We basically need to come down lower than 31.57, or we need to go up higher than 40.33, right? So those are the two kind of ranges that we're looking for. It doesn't really matter what way it goes. As I said, most professional traders won't be trading this. They're looking for a break out of this range. Okay, so essentially we'll be looking at either coming up higher than that area, this white box, or down lower than this one here. So ultimately, once that happens, then you have an understanding as to what will happen next, right? So let's hypothetically say we do come up into this range, we break the ranging structure, we come up into here, then of course we've broken the continuation pattern. Once we hit this high point, then we break down. And we'll break down a fair chunk, I would have thought, okay? Essentially, a continuation pattern is a continuation of what led into it. So we can see that we pulled down, we then go sideways here, okay? We're going sideways, and then we're going to continue coming down. The only difference is whether or not we actually can push this up into that supply zone one more time and then break on down, or we're just going to break down from here. Both are possible until you actually finish this structure. This is why a lot of professional traders won't trade this pattern, because it can go either way on the short term. We know long term that we're going to be breaking down. We just don't know about the short term. So looking for the good entries, I would be waiting to see which one of these plays out. And like I said, it doesn't really matter. There's opportunities everywhere from trading points of view, right? So we're either going to come up here and then we're going to short the market and it's going to be great, or we're going to come down here and we can long the market and it'll be great. Now, alternatively as well, this being end of structure at 25 cent could be a fantastic dollar cost averaging opportunity for XRP as well. So there's lots of things to think about. And I know there's a lot of people who will be saying, well, what about the lawsuit? What about, settlement? It's any day now. And yeah, sure. I mean, the settlement can happen at any point. I still think it's going to be 2023. The SEC have not exactly been wanting to speed things up during this court case, and with all the amicus briefs that have gone in, they've now been given extensions. So chances are that they're going to drag their feet even longer. So I'm not thinking that a settlement's going to happen anytime soon. So I think there's plenty of time for these kind of moves to play out. When we're at 25 cent, though, I do think XRP is going to be in a prime position for a really good run to the upside. Whether that is just going to be a short-term kind of swing trade, or whether that is going to be, the end of the bear market right down there, right? I don't know. What I do know is it's an end of structure, and it's going to be a fantastic opportunity to take advantage of 25.23 cent, in my humble opinion. So I will leave this video there. As I said, this is about 5 hours in advance, so some of this may have played out slightly differently, but the bigger macro picture, in my opinion, will remain the same. Essentially, we are looking to come down towards 25 cent, and the only way to invalidate such a move is to come outside of this yellow box area here, above 43.74 cent, and it wouldn't even necessarily invalidate 25 cent, it would just elevate that target up higher, so it becomes maybe 27 cent rather than 25. You'd have to completely come up higher here than 50 cent to completely break that structure and prevent any further downside. So just kind of bear these things in mind. There's a lot of potential to XRP, both long term for good price appreciation, but also on the flip of that, good opportunity for dollar cost averaging. Guys, I'm going to leave the video there. If you found it useful and informative, smash the like button. I do appreciate that. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, tap the bell, select all those notifications, and don't forget to, guys, join us down in Discord. Until the next one, have a fantastic day.